So my wife's older smartphone broke, and I had to give her the Samsung S22 Ultra that I've been using for most of my reviews. A smartphone is an integral part of our everyday lives. Right now, I have been using the S22 Ultra for almost 2 years, and it was a nice phone. It worked with most USB DAC dongles, it had a pretty good Bluetooth connectivity, and when my wife's smartphone broke, I decided to go for something else, not just upgrade to the S24 Ultra. So I started purchasing and also returning every single flagship until I found the one that worked well for an audiophile and which actually did sound good. Today we have the Red Magic 10 Pro. This is the 10th generation from Red Magic, which is a sub-brand of ZTE. If none of those names mean anything to you, that's okay. We are here to learn. I have spent almost $10,000 in this experiment, and the result of the experiment is interesting because not only this is not the most expensive smartphone flagship, it's actually not even comparable to most flagships in many ways, but it has the features that an audiophile needs. So, starting with the price point, here I have the cheapest version of it. You can actually purchase and return most products if you are in Europe. You have 14 days to do that, and that's what I've been doing. I actually am happy for this because this experiment taught me so much about where we are with the smartphones. I never knew. I did not experiment with the smartphones. I just grabbed the Samsung, used it, and only now I realized that there are some better things out there in many ways. Starting with the price point, this is 649 euros. In Europe, it should be cheaper in the USA. You have either the 256 gigabytes of memory or the 512 gigabytes of memory. I went with the lower one because I realized that my smartphone doesn't hold that much music onto it, and my Tidal collection is not that big either. Since I don't play that many games, it was surprising to find that a gaming flagship is what is best now. Starting with the idea of the smartphone, this is a gamer smartphone. Basically, it has touch triggers on the side. I don't use those. It has a full gaming mode. I don't use it. What it does have and I use is Bluetooth. First off, that was very important for me. So the biggest disappointment in the Bluetooth department has been Motorola. I had a Motorola smartphone when I first went to high-end Munich. It was an okay smartphone. The camera was horrible on the Motorola, absolutely horrible. The Edge series have an unreliable camera. You can go and watch my video exploring the high-end Munich of 2023. The camera was so unreliable that in 2024 we just took our big camera. We could not do it with a smartphone. And that Motorola just had frame drops, stutters in the camera, just horrible. I also noticed when placing it side by side with the Samsung S23 Ultra that Motorola's have a lower maximum volume, a much lower Bluetooth quality even when it is using the same codec, and it just sounds scuffed. You can disable anything, you can engage every single option you want in the developer options. Nothing can fix that, and I tried everything. So the adventure continued. Most smartphones sound similar to the S23 Ultra from Samsung or below it, and then I discovered this one by accident. I decided to purchase the one with the latest processor because I wanted the fastest stuff out there. Even if you use it just for Tidal, it's incredibly fast, like it's lightning fast. You just open up and Tidal starts right up. It's faster than the S23 Ultra. So this is running the Snapdragon 8 Elite. It is the fastest smartphone CPU available on the market. You just go to Tidal and it runs. Everything just runs. This is what surprises me. The quality of the Bluetooth of the Red Magic 10S Pro is much better than on the S23 Ultra. You get better resolution, better clarity, a wider soundstage, and the sound is less compressed. You hear that right away. Second, it has a fade-in, fade-out effect. I don't even know why no other company does this. It's just the single smartphone on the market that has this. I purchased everything. None has this option. None worked with it. On the Red Magic 10 Pro, when you switch between Tidal and Hibi Music, for example, if I'm playing a local file and then I'm playing with Tidal, you get a fade out on the song that was playing and the fade in on the one that starts. It's brilliant. I love that. You also get a more reliable Bluetooth connection. This is what I'm trying to convey. You get a really reliable Bluetooth connection. For example, I use my smartphone a lot at the gym. The problem with the gym is that there's not hundreds, but tens of people around you. Like we are 100 people in total at the same time there. Everyone is using their smartphone. Everyone is playing Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth network is congested to the maximum. S23 Ultra tends not necessarily to roll to SBC or to AAC. It can still use LDAC in those conditions, but the quality of the LDAC is much lower than on the Red Magic 10 Pro. My best guess is that this has a much better antenna inside, probably a larger antenna. I don't know if it has any impact on the amount of radiation that you receive, but it should be non-ionizing radiation, so it should not be a problem. It should be radio frequency, it should be okay. Of course, unless you are keeping it glued to yourself. But when I go to the gym, I don't. The Bluetooth is brilliant. It has a headphone jack. You wouldn't believe this. Do you know how few smartphones have a headphone jack nowadays? I think it's the only one. It's the only flagship at anyway. I don't know if Asus still has those. Asus also had a pretty reliable Bluetooth signal, but it still was below the S23 Ultra. So when I purchased every single flagship, I did this. Is it better than the S23 Ultra? If not, back. It just goes back. On the Motorola, it has so many failures that I had to mention them. But this one, it was the only smartphone better than the S23 Ultra, which is great because it is the only one I purchased not locally. As far as I know, you can purchase the Red Magic smartphones only from their web store, which is not in Romania. So I don't know if I'm covered by the return window. I still have not played many games on it. I'll be honest with you. I'm an audiophile reviewer. I installed some games, but I still have not played them. Most of my time, especially free time, is spent either with my wife or listening to music. I play games on my computer. I have a 65-inch screen on where I'm pointing at, is not visible. And I even ordered a gaming tablet with controllers. I don't know who plays games on a smartphone, but if you do play, this is the smoothest smartphone out there. The display might not be the fastest because as far as I know, there are some 165 Hz displays out there. It is just 144 Hz, but it's smooth. It doesn't freeze ever, which I really wanted this because I'm allergic to freezes. I just like smooth stuff. My computer is running 144 Hz on the display, so the TV can run at that refresh rate. Some of the other advantages for audiophiles especially are the large battery is 7,000 milliamperes. So when comparing it even to some audiophile players, it's more. I have charged it yesterday. Right now it has 74%. I've used it today with Waze, so like Google Maps to drive. I've used it to listen to music. I talked on the phone. I searched for stuff on Google. It's incredibly long lasting. It charges quickly, 120 watts of fast charging. If you don't want it for the audio, you want it for the battery life. Like, it's that simple. It's the only flagship that has the Snapdragon Elite and the new silicone batteries, which are much better at lasting. At the Motorola, I did not like the screen size. Most of their smartphones are 6 inches, 0.67, which is a bit small on my hands. I have pretty big hands. This is perfect, 6.8 inches. Much better. The aspect ratio is a bit wider, not quite as wide as the S23 Ultra, but it's okay. It gets my thumbs up. Navigation and GPS work perfectly. I need that when driving because I use maps. Bucharest is not a place you remember. It's a place you use Google Maps every single time. So I need something that has really accurate GPS. If we do a quick speed test, I'm curious what's the maximum Wi-Fi network speed. We get over 800 megabits per second. Do you know what this means? This is almost gigabit speed. It's how much I get from the internet service provider. So I don't get more on my computer. I don't get more. This is what our ISP gives us. So I have that on wireless on a phone. Imagine how quickly stuff loads on Tidal. It's just instant. And that's another thing that I like about it. It loads everything instantly. It has dual SIM, no micro SD slot. So if you have a really large music collection or a really large collection, it won't work. YouTube works flawlessly. I mean, it did on the S23 Ultra too. USB DAC dongles work flawlessly. I really like that. On the negative sides, it has a fan, which you'd think would be a problem, right? Because having a fan on a smartphone would mean audible noise, which for an audiophile defeats the purpose. But you can't really hear the fan if it is working normally. For example, if you are doing whatever and you allow it to run, you can even turn it off. But if you allow it to run, you won't hear it. Like if I put it right here on my ear with the fan blowing right into my ear, I can hear a very faint whisper. But if I put it on the microphone, you will not hear it. Just let's test this. If you heard anything, you are hearing the fan. If not, you are not hearing the fan of the smartphone. You can turn it at maximum, in which situation it is pretty audible, but you don't ever need it unless you use the fastest charging available, situation in which you can engage or can choose not to engage the fan. If you are using the fan, it cools off the internals and the battery, providing a longer life for the battery. Once again, very important stuff. And to me, it's nice. So this is the fan at the highest settings. You'll likely hear it. It still doesn't compare to a laptop or any other kind of noise. So I'll put it to the microphone and see if it is audible and if my microphone picks it up. So with the back, you don't hear it. With the front and the exhaust of the fan, that's the maximum noise you'll ever hear from the Red Magic 10 Pro with the fan. The speaker quality is about the same as it was on the S22 Ultra. The speakers go a bit louder, but at the maximum loudness there is a bit of distortion. So anyways, who listens to speaker smartphones? Who listens to the speakers of a smartphone for music? I mean, honestly, we're at Audiophile heaven. If you do that, I can recommend you some really cheap $100 or even $100 EMs or in-ear monitors that will give you a much better experience. If you have the money to purchase this smartphone, you likely have the money to get yourself some good or decent EMs. I mean, the options are countless. Just check out Audiophile Heaven, the written website for cheap stuff reviews. You can see the seconds on the timer, on the clock. I did not have that on the S22 Ultra. I couldn't engage it. I like the design of the case, pretty cool. If you can see, it is the only smartphone on the market that has this case. It's pretty much a dream smartphone. It has a large display, which is good for the eyes of an adult. As an adult, I don't have the mental energy to look at small smartphones. I just don't feel like it. Everything else loads instantly. Instagram, social media. You can't ask a smartphone to be faster than this and to freeze less than this. Like, you see? It just doesn't freeze, so it's super nice. Some people complained about the OS and the software. I found the software to be stable. I had zero freezes, zero bugs ever since I got it. It updated itself to Android 15. It is running the Red Magic 10 version of the Android 15. It has a skin over, not the default Android experience, but it's not quite as customized as the Samsung is. And to be honest, that's good. The Samsung is a bit pretentious. I would call it pretentious. So the Samsung software for me is a bit pretentious. The Red Magic is a no-nonsense software. It just works well. The display is super crisp. It has less blue tint than the Samsung does. So with the Samsung, I have more blue tint on the default setting of the display, which is surprising for how much people love the Samsung smartphones. It's still AMOLED. It goes extra bright. So at maximum brightness, you will not see it on the camera. It will be fully white. This is because it surpasses what my camera can record at those settings. You can go almost to minimum brightness for it to be visible on the camera right now. So this is how it looks like. Nah, it's a bit too dim right now. So for a smartphone that I had to search for by purchasing smartphones, I'm actually pretty happy with it. So the battery life, check. Wi-Fi connection speed, check. Bluetooth, check. Tidal, check. Social media, check. Everything that a working adult needs, this one provides better than most of the competition. It has a slightly edgy look. If you don't like that, you will not be able to use it for a long time. I mean, I'm still a gamer. I still game quite a bit. Not the Xbox style, but quite a few strategy games, some adventure games, some story-based games. Visual novels, of course. I think that the idea of having a gamer-centric aesthetic smartphone is good. The one thing that I still have not fully gotten used to is the fact that the power button is a bit lower on the right side, so it's quite a bit lower. So whenever I touch the right edge of the smartphone, I typically just touch the volume buttons, which is where S22 Ultra has the power button. That's something you have to get used to. The cameras. No, don't purchase this for the cameras. If you make photos, just don't purchase it. The camera quality is non-existent. So the front camera is so bad, it's blurry, it's non-existent. You don't take any kind of photos. Also, although there is no cutout in the display for the frontal camera, you can actually see that frontal camera. The only problem is that face detection uses that frontal camera. It doesn't have any other sensor. So whenever you try to open it up, if it does the face detection, most of the time it fails and you have to use your fingerprint. On most brightness settings, you don't see the cutout for the frontal camera. But if you pump the brightness, on black you don't see it. On white you don't see it, but on colors you do see the frontal camera. It is right here in the middle of the display. It appears as a little colored dot on the display. It's not like 1 pixel, it's a few pixels. But the point is that it is not fully hidden. For example, even in the WhatsApp screen, I can see the frontal camera. It's much less intrusive than having a cutout in the display, but the quality of the frontal camera is non-existent. It won't even recognize your face to unlock the smartphone. So don't do frontal camera with the Red Magic 10 Pro. The back camera quality is also pretty atrocious. It's good if you need to take a photo, like if you really need to, technical photo of a defect, but no, artistic photos are a no-go. And this is why I decided to give the S23 Ultra to my wife. She really likes to take photos, to film videos. She even opened up a YouTube channel. She does gym stuff. The idea is, this is a smartphone that I love for audio, for music, for media consumption. It doesn't have cameras. You can treat it as if it didn't have any cameras. Like if you really need to take something, it will work, but no for taking good photos, no vacation photos. You know, I'm filming this on a Canon R6, right? So for me, it doesn't make any sense to use a smartphone's camera. This is why I decided to not purchase another S23 or 24 Ultra from Samsung. A lot of the cost in the S23 Ultra goes to the camera, same with iPhones. And I don't use the camera at all. Like it's non-existent for me. So much better than the iPhones. Keep that in mind. The battery life is much longer. I tested iPhone 15 Pro Max and I did not like it that much. So iPhones don't have LDAC. They don't have advanced Bluetooth. They don't work with every single dongle, which is problematic. On all the iPhones I tested so far, the camera was brilliant, but I did not like the interface of the Apple system. It just isn't for me. I prefer this interface on the Red Magic 10 Pro. Everything else is about the same from a music lover's perspective. I don't game, so either iPhones or a smartphone gamer phone should do just fine. This inherited one gesture from Motorola that I really loved. So you can shake it to turn on the flash. You see? The flash turned on. You also turn it off by shaking the phone. This was not present on the S23 Ultra and on the iPhones either. It's a feature that I actually use because, you know, I wake up and I need the flash to see in the room, to go to the bathroom. It's useful. It's a really useful feature. I hope that this video was not too long and I hope that you learned something new. This is my smartphone. I'm going to use it daily. It's cheap, at $649 US. It's half of what I've paid for S23 Ultra and I purchased it. It's half of S24 Ultra, half of S25 Ultra and it will be released, maybe even less. It's less than half of a brand new iPhone Pro Max, but it offers a better feature selection and for a music lover I found it a bit better. Better battery life, better Bluetooth, better connectivity, faster and smoother system. What else can you want from a smartphone? Of course, no cameras, so don't forget this, it's important. Most people do use the smartphone camera a bit. The cameras are a no-go. ZTE also makes other devices, but I stopped at this because it was already smooth and I liked it. I did not try the Nubia Z17 and other smartphones. They may be good. I don't know. I have not tested them and right now I can't really afford to be doing the smartphone thing anymore. If you have questions, type them in the comments. If you want to see more content from me, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video if you found it helpful. And I thank you so much for watching. I'm really thankful for having you here, for having you as a watcher, as a subscriber, and for your time. And I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye!